What's Gucci, guys? This is the second part of my story time. Well, actually, this is just the second story. It's not even like the second part. Sorry, this chair is hella squeaky. So I'm gonna be posting these on Discord. Probably throw them on my Twitter later on and all that other shit. But yeah, I'm on Discord now. So if you guys haven't joined it, then you're fucking gay and you're missing out on, I don't know, just join it, dude. Whatever. I really don't need to fucking explain it to you. This is about story time. But yeah, I'll post the link and all that bullshit down below like I've done the last video or so. Hold on, let me take a drink real quick. So what I'm gonna do here, like I did the last time, is that I got my story out. I'm gonna read it. It's kind of like an audiobook thing. I'm gonna throw in some comments and all the other bullshit like I did in the last one. And I feel like you guys enjoyed the last one. So yeah, this story is called Febreze. It's about when me and my boys took down this girl from Tinder. Yeah, man. So whatever, let's get right into it. This one doesn't have to do with me shitting on a dude, so I guess it's a little bit better. So yeah, it's called Febreze, and let's get it going. All right, so check it out. All right, so towards the end of my first year on pretrial, I had run through all the pussy I had on deck like a billion times, and I wanted to get new girls. You know, I was on pretrial for 2 fucking years, dude. So all those girls that were sucking my dick that I would call like just booty calls when I was drunk, like, and I couldn't go out anymore or anything or get new pussy or re-up. So I just ran through all these girls and I was tired of it. I was bored. They were bored. I was bored. So anyways, so yeah, but it was super hard having to be sober and try and get new girls. I just wasn't used to it. The feds had me pissing 2 to 4 times a week. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't leave the fucking house. I was seriously about to start snorting coffee grounds or like at least injecting it just to get a head change. Plus I was sad and miserable and getting super fat. I couldn't just pull hoes like I used to. My buddy Steve wanted to set up a gangbang or something to cheer me up, but we both had been out of the scene so long we didn't know any hoes that were willing to let all the homies smash. So let me explain what I'm saying is when I was in my 20s, I used to have a sex party business and we would like do gangbangs. It wasn't really a sex party business, but like we would just throw gangbangs. So we'd find like a girl on a swinger website or whatever, and it was like a closed club, just word of mouth. And yeah, that was it. And we'd all fuck the same chick. That was basically really all it was. So my buddy Steve, I met this dude through. He was basically like a dude that used to come through, and we ended up becoming like best fucking friends. So anyways, Steve wanted to set up a gangbang to like, you know, lift my spirits, but we just couldn't, you know, we couldn't find any chicks anymore, dude. It all dried up. And I was fat. And actually, dude, I have another story about my whole gangbang party thing. I'll do that after this one. But anyway, so Steve and my boy Brody and I started a little mass text message just for this reason, to find chicks to gangbang. The problem with Brody being involved with tag teaming or doing gangbangs is that he always either busts way too quick and just lingers the rest of the time, or just sort of watches us from the corner jacking his dick, which is weird and sort of creepy, or he just can't nut and he'll go and grab a titty or something to let you know he's still there because you'll forget about him. This is what the dude do. He'd sit in the fucking corner and he would just jerk off, dude. Like that's all he did. He'd just jerk off. And then he would slowly like you and the boys are just basically fucking the shit out of this one chick, and then you totally forget about him, and he's sitting on like his phone, texting, jerking his dick, getting water. Basically he was like the water boy for us. Yeah, it was just super weird. And then he just like go and grab a titty and like, like, cause you'd have to go through like three dudes and he'd go and just feel her titty real quick and then go back to his corner. And that's how, it reminded us that he was still there. All right. So Steve and I got another text on the side, like, without Brody, talking shit about Brody and how creepy he is low key. Here's the thing though. Brody comes through. He hits up the text and is like, yo, found this girl on Tinder. She's down for us to gangbang. Obviously, we wanted to see the pictures. He sent us pictures of her, and she's a pretty cute Asian chick with short hair, sort of in shape, young, maybe 20, 22. Not like an import Asian, but an American one. So we're pretty stoked, right? He told us that she's down for tonight, like right now. Steve was like, we could do it at mine. Brody gets it all set up. We're all excited. So we go shave our balls and look pretty for the night. I head to Steve's, and when I get there, Brody's already there. Him and Steve are drinking, but I can't drink, because I'm piss testing. But I need to do something. I just can't be sober. That's retarded. So I'm just looking around, thinking about crushing up an Adderall or something. Brody is texting her the whole time to make sure she doesn't flake. But of course, after an hour of waiting for her, she says she's having car trouble. Automatically, we all think that she's either gonna flake or gonna flake on us. Brody, that's me clapping my hands together. I'm like, yeah, I'm like super into it. Brody told us to calm down. I already had a boner, so dude, fuck all that. I can't calm down. Steve tells Brody to tell her to get her an Uber to us. She texts back that she's down. At this point, we're all like a pack of hyenas waiting for its prey, pacing back and forth with boners. Only we don't want to kill her. We just want to put our little wieners in her. I'm broke as fuck at this point. I haven't worked in a year, so we all have to pitch in for the cab ride to bring this chick here. So, it was like all my money to fuck this chick. I have, so she lives in Davis, which is like 20 minutes away from downtown Sacramento. And we had to bring this bitch all the way over here. So she was like an import. We ended up paying like $50 for this chick just to come to us. I tell them, yeah, fuck that. I'll drive her home after this because I can't pay. I don't have any more money. I'm poor. I need pussy on layaway at this point. But about 25 minutes later, she texts Brody that she's here. And we have her come up through the elevator and find the apartment on her own because fuck that. We're not going in there. No one wanted to go down there and get her. The doorbell rings. Steve is right there and opens the door. Steve is the first person she sees, so I'm not sure what she thought at that point. All right, check it out. My boy Steve is a 400-pound Indian dude, or a Sikh. Sikhs are those Indians who wear the turbans. People get them confused that they're Muslims. They're not fucking Muslims. Let me give you a quick rundown. Sikhs are fucking gangster as fuck. They kill Muslims. They're fucking like the most caring gangsters, savages, fucking dudes ever. Like Sikhs will be your best friend. Like they always have those kids with like the kids will have like the diaper thing on their head. It like twist up. They look fucking weird. And obviously you want to judge them. You're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? But they carry little swords and daggers around and shit. They're fucking badass, dude. Plus they helped us win World War II, which is all right. Anyways, all right. So my buddy Steve, he's fucking huge, right? And funny as fuck and can hardly breathe and makes funny noises. But that motherfucker has a mouthpiece on him. He pulls mad bitches. But at first appearance, he's a little intimidating if you don't know him. Let alone if you're about to get gangbanged by him and his friends. Excuse me. I mean, she has to be thinking, I'm sucking this dude's dick. When she first saw him, I know I would. No homo. She was really nice, though, but crazy shy. She looked just like her pictures. Dude, I sound like a fucking robot. She looked just like her pictures. But yeah, she looked just like her pictures. We sort of chill for a few minutes, but we're all waiting to smash. This part is the most awkward when you're going to do a gangbang because, like, everyone's waiting. You're all fucking hard up and blooded up, and you just want to fuck. But you can't just go into it. So, yeah. It's like, when do you start this shit? I got really bored, so I went to the bathroom just to, piss, maybe let them deal with the awkwardness for a minute. I was gone maybe 5 minutes, okay, like 10. But when I walk out the bathroom, back into the living room, Brody's laying on the floor with his hands behind his head and his eyes closed and smiling. And she's sucking his dick while Steve is 100% naked, playing with his little wiener, sitting on the edge of the couch while his one hand is feeling her titty. All right. Check it out. No homo, but Steve tells everyone he has 11-inch cock. But every time we tag team, I always look at it because I'm expecting to see this huge horse cock. But it's just two little balls, and all I can make out is a head of a dick. But that's all I could see. No homo. I stroll over to her and I stroll over, like, you know, where they're all fucking her, and I give Steve the nod, like, telling him, good job, bro. And I go and get behind her because her ass is in the air while she was sucking off Brody. I was going behind her to pull her pants down to slip it in, you know, my dick. So I pull down her pants and her underwear, and I tried to get them off both in one motion, like, whah! But it had been a while. I hadn't done this in a while. I guess I was losing my skills. Rusty. I don't give a fuck. I'm a beast. I get her pants down. She had one of those huge baby blue granny panties on, like not sexy at all. And they were tight as fuck, like big ones that cover her whole ass to trap farts in, those big ass ones. It should have been a red flag, but fuck it. I'm a beast. I grab those stupid ass underwears and I pull those little fuckers down and get to the good. As soon as I get them down, it hit me. Holy fuck. It filled the room in a matter of seconds. That nasty smell, like dirty pussy smell, but more like a rotting corpse. I think she was wearing those underwear to mask the smell. That's why they were so big, and maybe to hold it all in. Steve was right next to me, sitting on the edge of the couch, stroking his little wiener and playing with her titty. When the smell hit him, like a dude, like getting, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you could just tell it on his face, like someone just slapped him or something. All right, Steve gives zero fucks. He just goes, oh, wow, and gets up and then goes to his room while Brody lays on the floor covering his nose with his hands, still getting his dick sucked. The smell sort of knocked me back, like when you smell a strong chemical and you just get away from it really quick, naturally. Yeah, like, you know when you smell gas, you're like, oh, fuck. The feeling, yeah, I can't read this. I was the one... Wait, the wrath, the whole thing. I sort of more. I was the one feeling the whole wrath of the fucking smell. But it was sort of more disgusting. Like, I was way more disgusted with how hairy her pussy was. Like, even her asshole was hairy, and it was like, because she was Asian, so it was like real dark hairs. It looked like worms. There were not like worms, but I don't know. It just didn't look good, dude. There was no way this girl had shaven before. She was that hairy. Like, those pubes were probably the first pubes she had ever grown. I couldn't even really see her pussy in there, but you could see moisture, like beads of it in the hairs. Ooh. All right. You ever seen Starship Troopers, the part where they find the brain bug and Neil Patrick Harris character puts his hand on it and he's like, it's afraid. And all the soldiers start cheering. It was sort of like that, but no cheering. Steve came back with the Febreze and cologne and started spraying it like crazy. I was too focused to really laugh. Brody was dying laughing, and Steve I had to edit this part out. I can't fucking say it. I know it sucks, dude. It's just like, yeah. Anyways, Brody was dying laughing, and Steve was just looked like a fat naked man covering up his farts. I just throw it in her and start fucking her like a madman. The smell got really pungent once I like opened that fucker up, cracked her all open. Steve just started Febrezing her and me while I'm fucking her, which is great because it was like a cool mist hitting me. But her pussy was so smelly. I was trying to fuck her, but at the same time trying to get as far away as possible. I had my body leaning as far away as I could to get away from her, but still keeping it in, which is a very hard task, dude. And if there was a sex Olympics, I'm just saying, like, I'm not the best, but dude, like, that's some fucking skill. All right, check it out. All right, so Brody ends up busting his nut and goes to sit at Steve's table, waiting and watching us the rest of the time. Fucking creep. After about 10 minutes, I got sort of immune to the smell. I remember I read a random book or a magazine or I'm just making this up, but it said when you're fucking or whatever, you ignore smells and tastes and stuff. So maybe that's what happened to me. She did suck a mean dick though. Like, not even gonna fucking lie. Like, that chick sucked the meanest fucking dick. Like, I would put up with the smell for how good she sucked dick. I couldn't ignore that. Maybe that's because she had to learn to suck dick because no one wanted to fuck her because her pussy smelled so bad. She sucks my dick for a little, and I'm a little thirsty, so I get up to get water, and Brody is just on his phone playing Diamond Crush. While I'm getting water, I start playing Creep like Brody and watching Steve fuck this chick. He has the Febreze in one hand and holding his stomach with the other, because like his belly's so big, he has to grab the belly underneath it to hold it, and he's fucking Febrezing. Great multitasker. He's the brains of the operation. So it was weird. It was weirdly crazy because she was weirdly okay with the Febreze. So she never said anything about it. So check it out. She must have known her pussy smells that bad. And from the 15-minute convo I had with her, I didn't really pay attention to what she said. She had said she was going to school to be a doctor. Or like, I think that was in her bio or something. How does a doctor have such bad hygiene? All right, so Steve stands up. Maybe he can't take the smell anymore. He has her start to give him, he like gets up, he's holding his belly, and he starts making her suck his little dick, right? You could tell she's confused, like, how am I going to do this? His belly hangs over his dick. So, it's just like, this isn't going to happen. Like, just standing up, it's like his belly touches his tip of his penis. She hesitates a little and then cocks her head all weird she cocks her head all weird while she's on her knees, and Steve leans back and grabs his stomach so she can get to his wiener from the side. You could see Steve's body frame from the side too. Like, during this whole thing, you could tell he's supposed to be skinny, but he's fucking huge. Like, it looked like a growth, dude. Because he's got little skinny legs. From the side of his body frame and his little skinny legs and tiny head and then all this extra shit just hanging off of him, it's crazy looking. So yeah, he is standing there with his head tilted back while holding his stomach so this poor girl can suck his dick. It sort of looks like a bird trying to get a worm out of its hole in the ground. All right. So, all right. What page is that? All right, so I grabbed Brody's phone because I wasn't allowed to have a smartphone on pretrial because, I was banned from the internet during that time. I start to Snapchat and all that, Snapchat. Like, I pulled out the Snapchat thing. I didn't really know what I was doing because Snapchat wasn't a big thing when I had the phone. This is like a year later. We giggle like two little bitches, and I wiped the water off my mouth, and I was drinking to refuel before I mob back. I head back to get my nut. At this point, I'm 100% immune to the rotten pussy smell. I grabbed her off Steve's dick like a baby off its mom's nipple and start smashing doggy. Normal. I guess the smell got worse because Brody made a noise across the room and ran into one of the spare bedrooms. Steve picks up the Febreze and keeps Febrezing while I smash. Great. I mean, these are friends, At least he wasn't going to abandon me. I flipped her over to fuck her on the edge of the cushion, so you can do that real quick jackrabbit move. So I started to jackrabbit her up and look badass. Steve's too fat to smash like me, so I look like a Greek god. She's like staring at me, making these intense fuck faces, and I sort of stare back at her, but it's just legit awkward. So I kind of look at her, but then look away, like brief eye contact. She randomly goes, "Hit me!" So I hit her pretty fucking hard, not like a punch. I would have knocked her ass out, but I just slapped her hard, like. Steve looked at me with his Febreze bottle like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" The slap was sort of loud too. I don't know, but I've always been taught not to hit girls, but it felt good. Not like I'm going to go around beating bitches up or anything, but it felt good. Maybe it was her stupid face or the way her pussy smelled. I don't know, whatever. But when I hit that bitch, she kind of groaned at me or made a growling noise. I'm sort of mid jackrabbit / hammer motion, fucking her. I got my moves are going, dude. So I don't really notice. But Steve was all, "Did you just growl?" to her. She laughs and is like, "Tell your bitch ass friend to hit me harder." I look at Steve and he looks at me, and I just hit that bitch with the force of fucking God. Open hand and with everything in me. Steve steps back and is like, dude, not that hard. Her head sort of whipped around. I was like, fuck. The mic died, so sorry about that, guys. I was getting into it too. All right, so I hit her head, right, and it sort of just whipped around. And I was like, in my head, oh shit, and stopped fucking her real quick. And I wanted to make sure she wasn't hurt and had a black eye. That's the last thing I needed. A charge for beating a bitch up. She sort of comes back sort of dazed and cheeks all red. She comes back to life and starts fucking me like crazy, dude. So Steve, all right, so she's fucking me like crazy, right? So Steve is looking at me all confused. She gets on top of me and rides me for a little bit and is growling the whole time, but I'm not tripping. Besides the dirty pussy smell, she's a great fuck. All of a sudden, she leans over and starts kissing my neck and chest and makes her way down to start sucking my little dick. I'm just kidding. My dick's fucking huge. You know that part where it's like, they take 2 years to kiss you all the way down, but you just want them to suck your dick already, but she's growling the whole time she's doing it. Like that. Steve sort of looks at me not knowing what to do, but stays playing with his wiener. She finally gets down to sucking my dick, and then, oh yeah, okay, so she gets my dick, right? From the kissing. All right, so she sort of starts nipping at the side of my legs and growling the whole time. So the nips start getting harder and harder to where it's like bites, and that shit fucking hurts. I grab her chin and have her look at me, and I tell her not to bite so hard and sort of slapped her like a playful slap. She goes back down and bites me again fucking hard. Like I'm sort of bleeding. I get up and I tell Steve, this bitch is biting me and he needs to switch spots with me ASAP. We switch sides. And he takes my spot on the couch. And as he lays down, like on, because he lay down to suck his dick so I could hit it, I started hitting it from the back again. She was growling the whole time, but she was rolling her hips and really into it. Felt great for me, but she starts nipping at him now too. Steve has to stop like I did, and tells her to stop. She keeps doing it. Steve starts to slap her too, which does look way crazier watching someone else hit a bitch than actually doing it yourself. The problem is hitting her just makes her more rabid. That's where I fucked up. So when he hits her, she gets more into it and then bites harder. Took me a while to figure this out, but this bitch won't talk. She only growls when we try to talk to her. Steve starts getting really mad, but I still just want a nut, so I'm kind of getting into it, trying to focus. He is risking rabies. Plus, he wasted a whole bottle of Febreze on this bitch, so he's got a lot invested. This nipping continues, and so does the slapping that turns into bites. Steve yells out, bitch! What the fuck? I'm bleeding! I'm still fucking her, but all confused. Right now, she's fucking the shit out of me, though, so I don't stop. I just pretend I don't care what happened to Steve. Brody hears him and comes out of the room. He sees Steve bent over, holding his balls, whining and breathing all hard. Brody's like, what the fuck is going on? Steve goes, the bitch bit my sack, dude. I'm bleeding. Take me to the hospital. Get me an Uber. Brody is like, is it bad, though, or does it just hurt? Steve is like, I don't want to look. It hurts. Sort of like groaning and crying at the same time, bent over. I tell Steve to show us his sack so we can see if he needs to go to the hospital or not. He goes, okay, tell me if I need to go. I don't want to look at it. I can't. He leans back and has his hands holding his dick and balls. He takes a deep breath and moves his hands. You know what's weird, though? I noticed he didn't have a boner anymore. Boners must go away crazy quick when your dick and balls are in pain. I don't know. Just an observation. No homo. At first, I couldn't tell if there was like a cut or anything. He's kind of crazy hairy. Brody and I stuck our heads closer to look, and holy fuck, not much blood, but it was open, like you could see flesh, sort of. The nutsack skin is so thin, but you could see the purple veins all fucked up. Steve for sure needed stitches, and I couldn't tell really how bad it was. A cut on the sack is dangerous. Will his nuts fall out? Who knows? We all decided we needed to call an Uber to take him to the hospital. The Asian just sat on the couch eventually, went around picking up her shit off the floor slowly and putting it on while we were inspecting his nuts. I went and found some pajamas for him to put on. He sort of got them on, but he started bleeding through them. So we got a towel from the kitchen to apply pressure to his little balls. He put it on his nuts and just held it in place. We got all dressed, and Brody said he had the Uber on the way. We had about 5 minutes to get Steve downstairs in time for the Uber. I hurry up and clean up the drops of blood the whole time Steve is groaning, kind of crying. The Asian didn't say shit, and I think it started to piss Steve off. He just looked at her while waiting for us to get our shit together to go downstairs. And he is all, "You don't have anything to say?" She's standing there with her arms crossed and looks at him and says, "No." I wanted to laugh, but I was too busy picking up shit to get on that. All right. So let me finish this real quick. All right, so Steve just stared at the ground and shook his head. I kept hearing Brody tell him it's not that bad, but it was like in those war movies where the dude just had his leg blown off and he's asking his friend how bad it is, but his friend is like, "Oh, it's just a scratch," and then they die. It was kind of just like that. We all shuffled out the door a few minutes later to get Steve in his Uber. We felt like he didn't need us coming with him because he could walk just fine, and Brody was drunk, and we honestly didn't want to be at the hospital for 8 hours. I just decided I'd take Brody home and the Asian. Steve wasn't happy at all. We stuffed him in the Uber while he kept pressure on his dick. I told him to call me to let me know if he's okay. You know, I don't know, man. What the fuck? Is your sack okay? The Asian and Brody got in the car and we took off to drop her off. As soon as we got in the car, she started laughing. She told us she got way too into it when we started to slap her and to tell our friend sorry. We sort of freaked out. We were okay, dude. We were in a car. It seemed like with a murderer. Basically, we were like transporting a fucking sack murderer. We were sort of freaked out by her, but we sort of laughed like, "Ha, yeah, cool. Don't kill us." I was all, "It's all good," but really, you almost bit our friend's dick off. She tells me to put her number in my phone. I do it to just not be rude. We had a 20-minute ride back to her place. I tell Brody to jump in the back, and she starts sucking his dick again. I tell him to bend her over the middle console so I can get it slopped up while I'm driving. So he puts her head in my lap. Not too smart, but what's life without risk? I'm not going to smack her this time, though. He starts smashing her. I roll down all the windows and turn on the air vent thing, and set it to unfog, thinking that would help the smell. I took another Snapchat on Brody's phone and sent it to Steve. He got 5 stitches and he lived a tag team again. The next time wasn't much better. He found some dude who had a few months to live with lung cancer and wanted to watch his wife get fucked. He had a little air canister he carried with him, too. He would cough like he was dying while Steve and I bent her over his dying body and air canister and fucked the dog shit out of her. All right, little homies. That's all I got for you. I love you. All right. Later.